Hi there, and welcome to the writer's commentary for the Batman Beyond portion of DC Comics' Batman Beyond Unlimited number 3, Digital Chapter 5, the next to last part of our Mad Stan story. I'm Adam Beechin, I wrote it, Norm Brayfogle drew it, Andrew Elder colored it, Saida Temofonte was our letterer, Sarah Gatos our assistant editor, and Jim Chadwick our editor. The cover was drawn by Howard Porter. A couple of things before we really get going here. First of all, the standard spoiler alert. The comic has been on the shelves now for a little while, so if you haven't read it yet, pause this now and go read it so you don't have anything spoiled for you. Second, I want to thank everybody who's been checking out these commentaries. The response has been very positive, and we're grateful for that. Hopefully it's giving you the peek behind the curtains that you've maybe wanted from a comic book. And thirdly, want to address a question that I get a lot on our email, which is batmanbeyondcommentary@gmail.com. Feel free to send your questions or comments there. The most asked question that I get there is Batman Beyond the definitive future of the DC universe? Is this definitely what's going to happen to Bruce Wayne down the road? Will Terry McGinnis definitely come to be part of the Batman mythology? The best answer I can give you to that is I don't know. The way that I treat it is that Batman Beyond is a possible future of the DC universe. Things could go any number of different ways between now and when the Batman Beyond future year, whatever that is, happens to arrive. So I like to say that this is a possible future, not the definite one. And if it comes to pass, great. We're going to be telling stories about it no matter what. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get to the page-by-page stuff on Digital Chapter 5 of Batman Beyond. Okay, this is page 1, panel 1, and don't get nervous, I'm not going to have notes on every panel of every page. But here I just want to point out the graffiti that Norm has drawn. Along with the anarchy symbol, there's some graffiti with an international feel to it. That's in keeping with the animated series, which in particular showed graffiti with Asian overtones, suggesting that future Gotham had been kind of Blade Runner-fied, for those of you who have seen the film. If you haven't, I strongly recommend it. The basic notion is that American cities of the future in general have a more Tokyo-like feel. The Tokyo you see in the Ginza district with the high-tech billboards and the constant visual overstimulation, because of the influence of a booming Asian economy. Warren Ellis brought a lot of that same kind of feel to his book Transmetropolitan some years back. In any case, for our purposes, remembering that Gotham is stratified by class, with rich folks on the highest levels and the poorest nearer the bottom, you're more likely to see graffiti down towards the ground, which we are here. If this were happening outside, say, Bruce Wayne's office, it'd be a lot prettier. Our page 2 splash is a case where Norm gave me much better than I asked for. The script called for a wider shot, with the figures much smaller to show Stan's burning houseboat and give us more of a sense of the docks. But Norm established the dock setting on the first page, so here he pushes in and focuses on the figures, and I'm glad he did. The more full detail on Stan's face is priceless, and the up angle emphasizes his size and makes Batman look like he doesn't have a prayer in the world of keeping this bull rhino of a dude from getting past him. Here's the payoff on the tasers Batman's been using lately. We've seen in past chapters what a couple of these fingertip tasers can do to a bad guy, and now we're going to see what all 10 can do to someone like Mad Stan. Unfortunately, it ain't much. Now, in addition to being funny and to pointing up how crazy, insane in love Stan is with his dog, this shot also helps us understand that Stan really is a formidable physical force. Stan gets played for laughs, which is only right, but he's still a tough takedown for Batman, so you don't want to get too caught up in the gags and forget that fact. Here, Norm and Andrew do a terrific job with the special effect and the coloring to give you a feel of the energy that's coursing through Stan, and it doesn't look light and tingly. Okay, page 5, trivia time. In the top panel, Bruce identifies the leader of the Russian thugs as Boris Dubov. Now, old-time TV fans might remember a Gilligan's Island episode where the castaways encounter a Russian sculptor who's marooned himself on the island, talks about himself in the third person, and just wants to get away from people. Dubov says, "Phooey on civilization," he'd say a lot. I always loved that episode, so that's where I got the name. Now, in the panel below, it's time for Adam's favorite line of the chapter, and it's Bruce appropriating the classic Casablanca line, "Round up the usual suspects," for his own purposes. By now, I figure that phrase has come to represent what Bruce, if he were a quarterback, might call play number 1. Or pick up some stool pigeons, do the dangle them upside down bit, and see if any of them say anything. Yeah, you've seen just about every Batman writer do their version of this. It's become a staple, and I'm no different. I feel like it's been seen so often, though, you can't really play it as though you wonder if Batman might really drop someone, because you know he won't. And you can't play the slow reveal of the stoolie revealing he's hanging hundreds of stories off the ground because it's too familiar. I thought about a scene with Batman and an informant hung upside down who could care less because this is the third time this week Batman's done this to him, and he knows how it turns out, but even that felt familiar, and it would have taken too long. So I opted to just cut to the chase and make a gag out of it. Doing it shorthand like this nods to the reader that, yes, we've seen this scene before, we can get a sense of what the whole process was like in just a couple quick shots. Rhino's Chili here on page 7 is an actual location from the animated series. I like the idea of a chili parlor as a hangout. Burger and malt shops we've all seen before, and they seem old-fashioned anyway. And why invent new food and try to be overly clever in coming up with a futuristic hangout? There's nothing wrong with chili. Heck, I'd hang out at a chili parlor if I could. On page 8, here's the scene from the chapter I'd like to have back. The intention and the story purpose is right. I don't think I executed it as well as I could have. I've been going to great pains to show Dana as a strong young woman, strong enough to draw a line in the sand with Terry and really make her an individual. And then I go and write her literally coming back crying to Terry for help. Now, showing her asking Terry for help is one thing. There's ways to do that without making her appear weak or saying, "Oh God, I need you." In retrospect, I should have had her be more grudging, angry at the fact that she has to ask Terry for help. But the truth is, he can help her and she needs it. Dana does have a good justification for asking Terry's help, which she presents here. It's all logical and works from a story standpoint. I just wish I had played Dana a little stronger. Maybe down the line, even she can wish she handled this scene differently and resolve to do otherwise if such a situation presents itself again. Fortunately, in the upcoming 10,000 Clowns story arc, Dana gets a chance to prove how tough she can be. Several times. The last two panels of the chapter not only serve as a cliffhanger, they sort of sum up the central theme of the book. What are your priorities? Are they the personal or the greater good? The needs of the many or the needs of the few or the one, as Mr. Spock would say. That's becoming more of a wrestling match for Terry with every adventure. For Bruce in this case, it's an easy choice, and he knows what he would have done when he was Terry's age without question. But Terry is not Bruce, and each time Terry has to make a choice like this, it forces him to think down the road about his future. There you have it, my thoughts on Digital Chapter 5, and we leave you with Dustin Nguyen's cover for Batman Beyond Unlimited number 4, which will bring you Digital Chapter number 6, the end of our Mad Stan story. The digital chapter will be up at Comixology on May 16th, and the print issue will be in shops on May 30th. As I record this, it's May 3rd, and Free Comic Book Day is 2 days away. I will be in Phoenix, along with Dustin Nguyen, at All About Books and Comics, signing on Free Comic Book Day, but I wish you a happy FCBD no matter where you are. Thanks again for supporting Batman Beyond Unlimited. Thanks again for watching these commentaries. And please do send us your questions at batmanbeyondcommentary@gmail.com. The address will come up here on the screen here in a second, along with ways you can follow us on Twitter. We'll see you in about a month with our next commentary. Thanks again. Bye-bye.